Hello and welcome to the Rejuvenated Woman podcast. I am your host, Cathy Carr, and today I'm here with Kirstin Potter. And Kirstin Potter is a holistic skin therapist and is the founder of Nourish Skin Clinic, located in the beautiful Noosa Heads. Kirstin follows a philosophy of beautiful, healthy skin and is obsessed with skin and gut health and wellness. She delivers the most up-to-date and accurate knowledge about your skin concerns by prescribing a skin program designed just for you so that you can reach your skin desires and how you can maintain healthy skin for life. Now, I can vouch for Kirstin's expertise because I stumbled across Kirstin maybe, 6 weeks ago or a month ago, and there was an ad. And of course, when you scroll through social media and something sparks your attention, if there's a sale and it's, beauty therapy or a facial or a little bit of self-care, I think we go, it makes us curious. So I took that offer and met Kirstin and had my facial, and I'm so glad that I stumbled across that little ad that you had because I've recently moved from Sydney and I had a holistic skin beautician down there. So sometimes it's hard when you move, it's like finding a hairdresser, someone that can really get where you're at. So a huge welcome. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you. And yeah, it does take a little while to find your tribe when you move.
It does. So tell our audience, Kirstin, how did you get into beauty therapy?
Well, my background's actually in marketing, so I spent quite a bit of time in corporate. And then the GFC hit, and I was like, right, what do I really want to do? And my heart pulled me to beauty therapy first and then a really intense focus on skin. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My mum started my skin journey actually when I was 13, when she bought me for my 13th birthday, welcome to being a teenager, an 888 bra, and I had no boobs to speak of at the time, and Nutrimedics, believe it or not, Teenamedics kit. And it had a cleanser, a toner and a moisturiser, and that's how I started to learn how to take care of my skin.
How awesome. I think every little girl kind of has that, curiosity about how we look after skin if we're watching our mother or if we have sisters. I know I was watching my sisters, with the makeup and things like that, and you become curious and want to try. I think even really young, right? Today with the social media, there's a lot of that kind of in our face, how we're supposed to look and everything. So as a young girl, what was it that kind of made you continue or look further into a path of, skincare and, because I think we've all gone through the different trials and tribulations of all different kind of skin products and things. I know I have, excuse me, many, many different products. So what was it that kept your passion?
Well, firstly, let me say thank goodness there wasn't social media when I was growing up. And secondly, I think I've always had really high maintenance skin. I always will, even though I'm a skin therapist. And that's a myth that all skin therapists have amazing skin. We have good skin because it's been a hard journey for us. Like with anything, I suppose, in life, if it's a struggle for you, you sort of go down that path and flesh out what to do, how do I navigate this skin? So my skin is very dry and very red, so it's very reactive to anything. Like in a circuit class, the instructor will say, "Are you okay? Are you going to die in a minute?" So yeah, my face goes bright red even when I'm exercising. So just learning how to combat that. I had acne as a kid, and I think, as you said, as a young girl, when you hit puberty and you start getting pimples, or you start and you're like, hang on a minute. I didn't have that before, and how do I then navigate out of that? So yeah, that's kind of been my journey, just searching for the right products that work for my skin.
Wow, yeah, as you mentioned, the young girl going through all the treatments. I remember watching my sister, and she just loves squeezing blackheads. So, and I kind of had a little bit of a smile when you said, when you've had those pimples when you're a young girl, it's like they're not there. It's like, no, when you start to mature, when you start to get the wrinkles, like, oh, that wasn't there last week. I remember when mine started, it's like, oh, I laugh a lot. I smile. I have been, I probably consider, I've been a happy person. So I think, they're laughter lines. But I want to go a little bit more into the lines. But tell me about, so what would you be recommending, for skin health and skin care?
Well, see, I look at skin very differently to a lot of people, where for me it's less about the cosmetic side. That's, in a way, for me, that's a byproduct. I look more at, okay, we live in a world where we don't do anything unless it's a pain point. So if someone looks in the mirror and they go, oh, I don't like that spot, or I don't like that pigment, or I don't like that acne, or I don't like that line, or whatever that case may be for each person, that's the catalyst where you go, okay, I need to do something about this. So it's different for everyone. So that's one of my questions on my consultation form. What would you like to, improve when you look in the mirror? So if it's a line, rather than focus necessarily on that line, I look at, how to support the skin with that line. So internally, in the clinic, but also at home. You can do a lot at home. If you've got the right products, you can do a lot at home. In fact, it's probably 80% of your results is at home, because you're with you all the time and you're treating yourself. If you're AM and PM routine, you literally are treating your skin twice a day. Whereas I'm only treating a client once a month or once a fortnight, depending on the schedule that skin needs. So don't underestimate home care. It's key.
Yeah, we all love you every day. Gosh, I was just thinking, last night as I was doing a mask, I thought, oh, yeah, I just love to have that suction thing, which we'll talk about. But when you said, you talk about the skin on the inside, so what are you referring to there?
So often we know we've got a gut microbiome. That's kind of common knowledge now, where it wasn't for a long time. We also have a skin microbiome, and we also have a skin immunity. So my focus is to get the gut to align with what's happening in the skin, and the gut mirrors what's happening in the skin. So, for rosacea, for instance, there's something going on internally. Acne, same thing. So we look at what foods might be causing that. If your child has acne and they're high sugar, then, cut out sugar and watch your skin change. Milk, wheat, the standard nasty list.
Yeah.
It tends to go across the board with all skin conditions. But each skin condition has a little tweak internally and externally to target that condition.
Yeah, I love that, and I'm totally on board with you there, because I'm a big believer and do encourage people, if they're just first looking for a kind of a solution, let's look a little bit deeper into the root cause, because, whatever is happening within is a reflection of what's taking place on the outside on your skin. So, for example, with acne, or any kind of spots, because I know we're kind of catering to more of a mature woman, but acne, you talked about sugar and gluten and dairy, but it can also be hormonal. Isn't there some junctions along the face which can indicate different organs? Am I right?
Yes, there are, but I didn't bring my face chart today, but yeah, I have a face chart in the clinic and I show people. So it could be stomach, it could be liver. Liver's kind of a big one, because the skin is our largest organ. It's also the elimination tool our body uses when the other elimination tools or filtering tools internally aren't working, like the liver, like the kidney, like the bowel, like all of those things that work to help us eliminate toxins. If they're not working, it comes out in your skin. But yeah, so acne, for instance, isn't necessarily a child thing. It's an adult thing. We all think, oh, cool, we're through puberty, skin's good to go. Potentially, in my case even, I had worse acne as a perimenopausal woman, just in a different area, as you say. So when I was younger, I had it through my jaw and they were cystic. Whereas when I was, still am, perimenopausal, they were across my cheek and a different kind of acne. So it's interesting to watch how the body processes toxins even through the skin.
Right, and so that also, perimenopause, because your hormones are starting to change. So, the body's still trying to cope and, more stresses, different stresses perhaps. So going back to the skincare, how and what do you use to help the health of the skin? If we're drinking enough water, we need the water to hydrate the skin and plump it to the cellular level. We need animal fats, right?
And lots of.
Right. Can I give you a high five on that? Because the reason why I'm high-fiving is because I think some of us may still be in that mindset that we need to have a low-fat diet, okay? And this just is not true. We need a high-fat, animal fat, protein diet for various different functions, but for our bone integrity, our bone health, the connective tissue, our skin, right, our hair and our nails.
So another one of my questions on my consultation form is: are you a meat eater? Are you a pescatarian? Are you a vegan?
I love that.
All those things, because it gives me an idea of how lipid rich or not your skin is when we're doing the consult. So those little questions might seem insignificant, but they actually give me a lot of intel. And so, unfortunately, we were all programmed to low fat, high sugar in our sort of, I guess, late teens, early 20s. And I'm glad it's come full circle now. And high fat, good fat diet, so not trans fats, but animal fat, as you say. And omega-3s is a key one. We get a lot of 6 and 9 from our foods, but they tend to be pro-inflammatory, and omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. And so if you're omega-3 low, which most of us are, our cell membranes are about 85% essential fatty acids. So if they once they break down and come to the surface, which is the process of how the skin works, if they get to the surface and there's no oil left, your skin is going to be dry and open to sensitivities because the oil content or the fat content, the lipid content isn't there.
Okay.
I bought my little display to show everyone. That's the moisture in our skin, and that is our essential fatty acid cell membrane barrier. If that is compromised in some way or deficient in some way, that water escapes. So not only do you get wrinkles or deep lines, you get so it's called transepidermal water loss when that happens, and you lose a lot of moisture. And so no matter how much water you drink, you'll never ever keep it in your skin because that oil is not there to protect it. So the key to hydration internally is making sure your omega-3 levels are right, because that interrupts your acid mantles when that's not there, and it can open your skin up to sensitivities, reactions. If you use a product, it will go in faster, so there's no filter in a way.
Mm-hmm. So for those who are listening without the visual, you can watch these visuals on YouTube, mine and Rejuvenate Pilates. Kirstin was just holding up a little jar there, and it kind of looked like the fat was at the top, right? And that is the fat at the skin.
Yeah, so it's the lipid barrier, we call it. So
okay.
there's two layers, and they kind of repel each other like oil and water. That's why that's a really good example. So if you've got water and no oil, that water escapes. But if you've got oil on top of the water, your omega-3s, for instance, that water stays in the skin. So you get plump, you get hydrated cells, you get hydration in general. So I notice when I'm taking my omega-3 supplement, my lips aren't as dry, my skin all over is not as dry. Everything's not as dry. I talk about omega-3s in the skin sense, but it has so many other benefits as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. And I mean, hydration is a really big thing though, because, you know, if it's one thing that I always get my clients to do is hydrate, and also to pinch Celtic sea salt in there to rehydrate to the cellular level. Thank you for that. So if someone has chosen not to consume animal products, what sort of, or not just those, I mean, but you'll probably see, I guess, more presentations of the same kind of thing in those that wouldn't eat animal fat than those who do.
Yes.
What sort of things?
Definitely dehydration and increased sensitivity. There is a vegan omega-3 supplement that you can take. I sell it, but you can also buy it online. It's an algae rather than the fish oil itself. And the key with omega-3s is DHA and EPA. That's the key. But unfortunately, I do find vegans have quite bad skin. And it's because they're deficient in so many things. And that's not a judgment. I'm not anti-vegan or anti... I'm not anti-anything, but it's an observation from what I see in my clients.
So dryness, wrinkles, darkness,
breakouts. Lots of things, because there's no nutrients to support what the skin needs.
So you talk about the plumpness of the skin naturally from the raw materials that we're bringing in. We can assist by having some really beautiful ingredients and materials to put on our skin, because there's a lot of other things that we can use or society is using to plump up ourselves. So let's talk about the product first, and then I want to talk about what sort of things, I guess, the effects, side effects, and what it looks like in the future for these kind of fillers and plump up products, if you can call them that.
I mean, it's an interesting place we find ourselves in. I'm glad, again, that I'm not growing up now, because the pressure to look flawless 24/7 is real. But I feel like, you know, we go to the gym to strengthen our muscles and our bones and make sure the density of our bones is there to support us as we age. And if you're putting in Botox and they say Botox is natural, Botox and fillers and things, I just you're paralyzing the muscles in your face to prevent a wrinkle. If you did that to your legs, you wouldn't be able to walk. And I just can't get my head around how that's a good thing. So as you age, as you get older, what is going to hold your face up? That's kind of where I keep coming back to. We do metabolize our fillers and our Botox, so it doesn't just kind of disappear. Our body metabolizes it. So
it's the liver overload again.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a process of metabolizing that foreign object that's been put in, and you know, what does the body do with that long term, and from a facial structure point of view, I just worry about long term where it's going to head.
Yeah, because Botox is used for rehab, for specific rehab, to numb that area of the body,
to let it heal,
let the nerve. But from listening to you there, my understanding is if we keep on numbing and taking the activity out of that connective tissue, the nerve innervation or the nerve response, what is that doing to the structure, and how is our face going to be held up as we get older? Because I think we just have to accept that it's, we're going to get wrinkles. We start to lose this elasticity. We start to fight gravity. It's really having an acceptance and starting to love oneself. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about the products. So, what sort of products, what are the ingredients besides these omega-3s that you find also in your skincare that you use, and why?
I think if we're talking clean beauty,
please,
and we're talking clean skincare, but also clean makeup, they're ingredients that your skin recognizes. They're ingredients that your skin uses. So the uptake is there, the bioavailability is there, the biocompatibility is there. So you're not, as you said on your consultation form, anything that's a chemical storm can, have adverse effects. So using ingredients that your skin recognizes and can uptake, you're going to use every part of that, your skin health, on all the levels of the skin. So whether it's within the cell or the cell membrane or whatever the skin or the communication of the cells, because the cells will talk to each other and either send more oil or no, we're not needing oil today, or we need this, or we need, so increasing that communication between the cells. Anything that blocks that or inhibits that, in my opinion, is a bit dangerous.
Mm-hmm. So things that the body and the skin would recognise is pretty much anything that comes from nature, that hasn't been tampered with, that hasn't been
overly processed,
right, or put in a binder or something else to make it smell more than, I guess, the scent that it already has. So what sort, botanical extracts and essential oils and flower essences and marine
algae, all sorts of things. And that's another reason why it's not one rule for everybody, because people have allergies to even natural things. So I do really encourage people to have a consultation, because every skin is different, and what your skin might need or your body is allergic to, I'm not, and vice versa. So every skin is very, very different, and it's your unique imprint. So, you've got to treat it like that.
100%. That's what holistic skincare is. Holistic health is holistic well-being. We can't just look at one area, because it's it's just kind of scratching the surface. We need to have a look at other areas in the body. And as you said, everyone is different. Everyone has a beautiful, unique makeup. Their physiology, the physiological makeup is very different. So what sort, I know, as you said, that everyone's different. What are the main things, I'd say, dehydration, wrinkles and things? And
inflammation.
Right, so we're getting as we come into this midlife.
Yeah. The roller coaster of midlife. I think inflammation and dehydration are probably the two biggest influences of what happens internally, but also on our skin. So if we learn how to hydrate or rehydrate internally and externally, and we learn what's inflammatory to eat and what's inflammatory, to put on, or anti-inflammatory, like where to head from an inflammatory or anti-inflammatory point of view. So the yeses and nos there. And it's different for everyone. Like almonds might make me inflamed, but they might not make you inflamed. So it really is a completely individual experience. It's not a blanket approach, which is really hard to put on your website when you're advertising or marketing or trying to get information out there about what you do. People struggle a little bit to understand that it's not just a XYZ treatment that everyone can have. It's a very individual treatment, no matter what you're treating. So if 5 people have acne, I'll treat it 5 different ways. If 5 people have pigmentation, I'll treat. Like, it's not a one size fits all. It's definitely a completely individual journey.
And that's why I resonated with you so much, because it's exactly how I approach my clients and work with people. Everyone is an individual. One exercise is not going to suit everyone. It might be awesome for me, might be detrimental to you. So when you're talking about the skincare, what are the essentials that we really should have at home? Is it the cleanser, Is a toner really necessary? Can we just get away with soap and water, a clean soap and water, for example? What are the ways that we need to apply? Is there a certain way? We know this with when we go to have a facial, but can you share a little bit about your essentials that you'd recommend and how to apply?
So I always go to start with, I call it a core 4. So a core 4 consists of a cleanser, a serum, a hydration, and an SPF. So that's kind of a non-negotiable for skin health. Cleansers these days usually have somewhat of a pH balancer in them, which negates the toner thing. So toner, contrary to popular belief, toner is actually used after a cleanser because cleansers back in the day stripped your skin of its essential oils. So you needed a toner to bring that pH level back. So our skin is naturally slightly acidic. Which is why there's a lot of acids in skincare, which is actually a good thing because our skin is slightly acidic. But if you strip everything out of that skin, you need to balance it again, which is what a toner was. It wasn't to shrink pores or close pores or whatever the myths were back in the day. It was actually to bring your skin back to a pH that could then accept what came after it. So a moisturiser or a SPF, whatever. So a cleanser these days is more than a cleanser because it's targeted to a skin condition or a skin concern. So that's the other thing. Some people come in with skin concerns and I can't address that skin concern because the condition of the skin is not ready to treat that concern. So we have to work with how's the skin presenting, what's happening. If I do what she wants me to do, it's going to make it worse. So I need to strip it back and go, okay, this is what we need to do for a short time to get the acid mantle back intact, to get the barrier function working, to get the skin functioning as it should. Then we can address your concern. So cleansers these days are actually targeted to your skin condition. So I wouldn't necessarily give the same cleanser to you that I would to me. The serum, same thing. If your skin concern is pigmentation, but your barrier function's out, I will repair the barrier function with a serum first. SPF is a non-negotiable, not because necessarily the sun, but we've got environmental triggers now. We've got blue light, we've got pollution, we've got, an assault from our phones, we've got, the skin is constantly barraged with, triggers. So, that serum would be specific to you. Again, SPF is for certain skin types and things. So your prescription, as I call it, is for you. So core 4 is always the same: a cleanser, a serum, hydration, and an SPF. But they are prescribed to you, not just to everyone off the street.
Mm-hmm. So a comprehensive kind of assessment you would do to then prescribe which of those core 4s to have.
Yeah. And then if once the barrier functions and the skin's functioning properly, we can add in things that are specifically for your concern then. So the condition is sorted, and now we can look at if your issue is pigmentation, then we can put some pigmentation serums that target pigmentation in there. But yeah, I guess the basic is the core 4.
Okay. And it's not all just about the products. We've talked about the inner health. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the best kind of nutrient dense, I guess, cell hydrating that will help all the cells, basically. Anywhere there's a cell, it's going to have an effect of anything in our environment. But what about now the technique? Because I'm sure there's a technique. Gone are the days where you grab that bar soap and then scrub your face. I remember having, you go through all of the masks, the clay masks that peel off, the scrubs. It's like sandpaper on your face. you've talked about the core four. What about the techniques? Because you've also got some incredible tools that help with the health of the skin, how you're treating and serving your clients too. So can you share exactly how we really should be doing our cleansing, our toner?
So that's a bit of a challenge because, again, every cleanser is different. It depends on the cleanser, but some cleansers I even suggest people use dry because they might have an enzyme in them that needs to activate. And some I don't. So again, it's really individual. So it's hard to have a blanket approach. I will say though that you don't necessarily scrub. And I think over exfoliating is a thing a fad we went through, and that ages you too because it thins the skin. So we have 5 layers of the top layer of our skin, and then we've got, so in our epidermis there's 5 layers, and then in our dermis there's more, but that's irrelevant right now. Our epidermis, the top layer, is called the stratum corneum, and everyone is in a hurry to get it off, but that is not necessarily the best thing to do. It's there for a reason. Yes, dead skin cells need to come off, but if your skin is functioning properly, that should happen naturally. You don't necessarily need to scrub it till it's red raw to exfoliate. So hence the enzyme cleanser that I was just talking about. There's an enzyme cleanser that you use dry, and the enzymes then activate to help with those dead skin cells that are ready to come off. Then you add a bit of water and you emulsify it, and then you rinse it off. The other thing with cleanser I do recommend is a double cleanse at night, because you've got to first to wash off everything that you're wearing and the day, and then you need to clean the skin. So double cleansing is really important at night time, or if you're a shift worker, opposite way around. So cleansing's everyone thinks, oh, we'll just get a cheap cleanser, we'll spend the money on the serums, or we'll spend the money on the moisturiser. Now, cleansers are multifunctional. They target a skin concern or a skin condition, depending on where we're at. They can be used to help with breaking down dead skin cells if we need to. So even a cleanser is quite intelligent these days. You know, you can definitely fine tune just with a cleanser
if you're putting your money where that quality is.
That's
it's
right.
all about the quality. Then the cleansers are going to do the work when you've got the right ingredients in there that actually do the stuff that they're going to claim to be doing.
I think that's a great point. Another question on my consultation is, where do you get your skincare from? Because a lot of people write supermarket, and that's fine, and they think it's the cheaper option, but potentially it's way more expensive than a good quality cleanser or whatever, because there's more fillers in it. It's not doing what it says it's doing, and it's potentially causing harm, and you use more. So all of those three are a false economy in a way, because if you then invest in, I'm not saying spend $1 gazillion on a cleanser, I'm just saying get one that suits your skin, that is prescribed to you by someone who knows what they're talking about, because you're just guessing when you're in the supermarket or the pharmacy. You're actually wasting money if you're buying stuff
Totally
like that. And I know that sounds rich coming from me, but it's a false economy. It's not. You're not saving money. You're making your skin worse. You're potentially, they've got fillers and stuff in them, and you use more. So it's a false economy.
Yeah, and it's, I guess it's where your values are. You end up spending more money. Later on, you'll have, more effects.
Fixing it.
Fixing it. It's the same with food, Where do you put your dollar? What's important to you? Do your best, if it is in your budget, to source some really clean products. How would someone come and get a treatment off you. I love that you're so in depth and that you're not having these quick answers. Like, it is very individualized, and that's again why I resonated with you, because we are very individual, unique beings, and I think we need to go about life that way. You know, there's a lot of marketing out there. You know, if a celebrity is on a packet, you know, well, it's working for her, it's got to be working for me, or, you know, and those are supermarket brands. So how does someone come about working with you? They go through an assessment. I love that you actually took a photo. I like that. Not that I liked looking at the picture afterwards, but it was so fascinating to actually see what my skin looks like with my eye and what's really happening. That was fascinating. So how does someone come to you and work with you or get a treatment with you?
So today, if anyone listening would like to come and have even a consult, or I have a treatment and a consult combo, I also have a clean makeup range, and I can do a colour session. I'd like to offer anyone a free colour session for the mineral makeup, and a free consult with the treatment for anyone that wants to. I'm on the socials as well, unfortunately. That we have to. Sorry, not sorry. It's a necessary evil. I'd rather not, but it's how people get to know that you are alive, because that's where everyone is. And going back to that, you know, the celebrity thing, we call them skinfluencers, and they are selling a product for money. They don't care about your skin. They don't know what's good for your skin or good for you. So I think it's key to find someone you trust. That's the key. Whether it's me or someone else, it doesn't matter. So long as you find someone that you trust, that gives you the tools to look after your skin and your gut health in support of your skin as best you can.
Ask questions. Dig
deeper. Find out, you know, how that person ticks, or
I think, look, then that's showing that you're putting yourself first. You're putting your health first. And this is all about you. This is all about your health.
And we're not good at that as women. We like to make sure everyone else is good first.
Oh, we're changing that.
We are changing that.
We're changing that story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Kirstin, thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with me today. For our listener, that just a summary. If you want to get in touch with Kirstin, please contact her. We'll drop the links down below in the show notes. She is in Noosa Heads in the beautiful Noosa. Maybe if even you're visiting, do you have visitors that come into state that just, you know, want to get a treatment? So remember, if you're listening to this, Kirstin is offering that free colour
session for the mineral makeup.
Yes, and a
free consult with the treatment. It's worth about $100.
So worth it.
Yeah,
so worth it.
And I do online skin consults. So if you aren't in Noosa or Sunshine Coast, I do online consults. It's just I can't take the photos like you in the skin analysis.
Through that.
You can't stick your head in the TARDIS. But you know, we can have a conversation, and I can dig deeper and have a look on the Zoom. And it's not hands on or anything, but you know, I can guide you with the right products for what your skin's presenting at the time. And the goal with skin is to change it, right? So we come in with a concern or a condition, and the goal is to change it. So the prescription now isn't necessarily what I would prescribe in 6 weeks' time once your skin has improved and we've changed it. So, you know, it changes seasonally. It changes in the seasons of our life. It changes all the time. So it's not one size fits all, and it's not one size fits you forever either. So it's a constant changing thing. And I'll leave you with this. Skin is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Okay. I do need to ask you one more question, because I ask all my guests.
Here we go.
What is a rejuvenated woman to you? What does she look like? Who is she?
I just got goosebumps.
Ooh.
Oh, even in everywhere, full body
Love that, 'cause
goosebumps.
it's usually me that's having the goosebumps. I like that.
She is empowered, embodied. She knows what she wants. She knows who she is. And she still cares about everybody in her life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Have an awesome week, and I will tune in on our next episode. Have an awesome day.